Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and this is Week 10 of NFL Game Picks for the 2020 season. And this is brought to you by NFL Game Pickers. So if you haven't done it yet, check out NFLGamePicker.com to do all your game picking needs, like how each and every one of us do in this chat here. Now, without further ado, let's talk about what happened last week in our league. So I finished off this week on top as the number one leader, tied with Eddie. So last week I went 11-3 and finished off the week with an overall record of 88-45. What about you guys?
Yeah, I went 8-6. Pretty disappointing week. Still at 500, but now I'm 82-51 on the season. So I got a lot of catching up to do. That early lead I jumped out to is done trimmed all the way back down to dead last. So I got a lot of work to do, but I'm feeling confident again this week.
Yeah, I had the worst week out of all of us. I went 7-7. I'm in second place technically since Eddie and Austin are tied. I'm at 84-49. Hoping to have a bounce back week and hoping my Bears win as well. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm up there tied at the top with Austin. I went 11-3 this week just like them, and we're both 88-45. So it'd be a nice little run down the road here.
Yeah, it was interesting. We had quite a good week, me and Eddie. Obviously, we didn't pick all the same games, but for the most part, we picked very similar games. There was about two games that we flip-flopped on, and each choice had different outcomes. But with that being said, what do you guys think of Week 9 and anything that surprised you? Obviously, me as a Dolphins fan, seeing Tua perform a lot better than he did against the Rams, which in that first game he didn't need to. This second game he definitely needed to. That's what was the difference maker for the Dolphins.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, Tua surprised me. I watched the second half of that game. The Dolphins' defense really showed out. But obviously the biggest shock of the week was the Saints absolutely destroying the Bucs on Sunday Night Football. I don't think anybody saw that coming. I mean, even the Saints win. I mean, I didn't even pick the Saints to win that game. So, that was pretty surprising to watch the Bucs really not be able to do anything offensively or defensively. So, it definitely makes that NFC South race a whole lot tighter, and the Saints pretty much control their own destiny going forward. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can finish off the season as they've hit this nice little stretch here.
Yeah, Bryce, I agree that Saints and Bucks game was one of the best games of the week, even though it was a blowout. It was pretty telling. Chiefs almost lost to the Panthers as well, so they looked a little bit rough. Dalvin Cook went off again. My Bears lost. It was a rough week.
My biggest surprises besides Tua playing great were Pittsburgh just struggling to beat Dallas. And what was my other one? And Buffalo I think Buffalo's legit. They beat a really good Seattle team, and kept putting up points.
Yeah, it was an interesting week. I caught a little bit of that New Orleans Saints and Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, but every time I would look away, look back towards the TV, and then it was like another Saints touchdown and whatnot. But let's dive into the first game of the week. We have Thursday Night Football, the Indianapolis Colts at the Tennessee Titans. The Colts are 5-3, and the Titans are 6-2, so they're the top two competitors in the division. And I see the Titans winning this game by a touchdown. I have them winning 17-24. I just like Tennessee's offense a lot better. The Colts obviously have a really good defense, but it is what it is. They couldn't withhold Lamar Jackson, and I don't think they're going to withhold Derrick Henry this week. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think this is a great matchup. The Colts have a top-notch defense, and the Titans have a top-notch offense. Colts offense has been struggling. They're bottom 10 in the league in rushing, and Phillip Rivers has, I believe, 7 turnovers so far on the season. So it's going to be a good matchup, and I think whichever defense plays better will probably win the game. After watching the Titans defense with the addition of Desmond King last Sunday, I feel like that we're going to that we're going to have a great game this week. So I got the Titans winning 27-21. I think it's going to be a close game till the end. But, I like the Titans at home this week.
Yeah, this is a great divisional matchup here. I think it's kind of a must-win for both teams in a way. Colts are kind of a hard team to figure out. Sometimes they look great. Some weeks they kind of look terrible. I think it's going to come down to who turns the ball over less, Tannehill or Phillip Rivers, and I'm taking Tannehill in that battle. So I have Tennessee winning 24-20.
Yeah, I also got the Titans winning 24-21. I don't know what to think about Indianapolis. They have a good week. They have a bad week. But I think Tennessee's a better team. The defense looks like they're improving. And, yeah, I think they're going to run the ball out this game. And I think I trust Tannehill more than Rivers at this point in his career.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing that really makes me decide some games against the Colts is definitely Rivers. And, I mean, some of those throws that he did, I mean, if you saw the pick that Marcus Peters got off of him on the last game against the Ravens, it wasn't good. So that takes us to our next game. We have the Cincinnati Bengals at Pittsburgh Steelers to open up the Sunday slate of games. And I'm taking Pittsburgh, but – I mean, there's some games that, the Pittsburgh Steelers barely beat the Dallas Cowboys. And that was quite concerning. But I feel like this week they're not going to let it happen. But this could be another one of those type of trap games, so you say. But I'm still picking the Steelers on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Steelers. But I think the Steelers are a fraudulent 8-0 team. The Titans were a field goal away from sending that game into overtime in Tennessee. Then the Ravens game came down to a last-second play from Lamar Jackson in which they did not convert and get a touchdown. And they really should have lost to the Cowboys last week. There was a terrible call on Jalen Smith for an illegal contact on Chase Claypool when Aldon Smith recovered a fumble and returned it down inside the 10-yard line. The Cowboys probably at least get a field goal and are up at that point. So not impressed with the Steelers. They are 8-0. I will give them respect, and I do have them winning this game. But they're going to go on a skid here soon, and I'll predict it.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what you were saying, Bryce, I think I saw a stat that Pittsburgh's only won 2 games by over 10 points this season out of the 8. So they could be fraudulent. I'm not sure. I have them winning, though. Bengals aren't a very good team. They just picked up Tack McKinley, though, who will make him a little bit better, but he's not going to play in this game. So I'm still rolling with
Yeah, I think I'm going to roll with the Steelers here. I saw Big Ben. They placed him on the COVID list. I don't know if it was a false positive or if he's going to start. I don't know what their deal is there. But I think Joe Burrow is going to struggle, especially against Pittsburgh's defense, which has looked pretty good this season. But I'm going to give Pittsburgh the upper hand here. I don't think Cincinnati's a team that can beat them yet.
Yeah, it'll be quite interesting. But like what Chris was saying, that they've been winning mostly close games. But to credit them, that's something a really good team does. They win those close games. That's what the difference maker is of a winning team and a losing team. They got to win out those close games. So from winning teams not really winning, well, this first team I'm about to mention, the Houston Texans at the Cleveland Browns. Houston's 2-6. And the Cleveland Browns are 5-3. And, they've had some woes, the Browns, but it's tough because the Texans are a good team. They just have such a bad luck of scheduling that, they just have been to a horrible start. But I'm still taking the Cleveland Browns. I just have a little bit more faith in them. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if Houston wins this game.
Yeah, I think the Texans have a good chance to win this game, but the Browns coming off a bye, Nick Chubb, I believe, has a chance to play in this game, and this defense having an extra week to game plan for Deshaun Watson. I still think Watson will be able to put up points, but I like the Browns at home right here. I think they'll win by probably about a score or 2.
Yeah, I think Baker is also on the COVID list, or did he just get off? I'm not quite sure. If he plays, they'll probably lose, but if he's on COVID, they'll probably win. So I'm going to roll with the Browns for now until I figure out if he's going to play or not. Texans defense isn't very good. They need to trade J.J. Watt. But yeah, rolling with the Browns.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Browns here. They were a banged up team going into their game 2 weeks ago. I think the bye definitely helps them. They caught it at a good time, and uh, just Houston's not a good team this year. The defense is terrible. Deshaun Watson is pretty much the only maybe bright spot that team has. So I'm gonna take Cleveland.
Yeah, I was just about to finish off what you were saying. Like, he's pretty much the only like little gleam of light in that Texans franchise right now. So it's unfortunate for them. Next, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Green Bay Packers. The Jaguars are 1-7. Packers are 6-2. And I mean, the Jaguars, especially without Gardner Minshew, not going to take them to win a lot of games. So I'm going to go with the Aaron Rodgers-led Green Bay Packers. So give me those cheeseheads.
I'm going to take the Packers right here also. But do not be surprised if this is a closer game than what people think. I could see this game being a one-score game towards the end. I'm not a believer in the Packers. I think Aaron Rodgers is good, but I just don't trust the Packers this year, man. I got them winning this game, but don't be shocked if it's close.
I don't know, Bryce. I don't think it's gonna be close. I hope the Jaguars beat the Packers. I really do. Be an early Thanksgiving gift, but no, the Packers are gonna win. Devontae Adams is healthy, and him and Aaron Rodgers have been going off the last 3 weeks. Packers win.
Yeah, I think Jake Luton had one good game, and that's it. I'm gonna take Green Bay in this one. I don't think it's much of a game at all. Just the Green Bay is a better team.
Yeah, clearly on paper and to most people's eyes, the Packers are a lot better than the Jaguars. Next, we have the Philadelphia Eagles at the New York Giants. And, I mean, this is one of those NFC East matchups, and both teams are horrible. 3-4-1 for the Eagles, 2-7 for the Giants, and I have more confidence in the Eagles. I mean, especially after Daniel Jones did that big run and tripped over himself. I got to take the Eagles.
I was going to pick the Eagles, but I just switched my pick. I think I'm going to go with the Giants right here. I just don't trust Carson Wentz, man. He's averaging a turnover and a half a game, I believe. And this Giants team has been playing really good ever since. And even in that Eagles game, they played really good against the Eagles. They came close to beating the Bucs. And then they beat the Washington football team last week. So I'm going to take the Giants at home right here. I need a win bad, and I feel like I can go against the grain right here and get an easy dub.
You trust Daniel Jones more than Carson Wentz? That's basically what you're saying? Man, I don't know about that. You saw him trip, right? I'm going with the Eagles. That offensive line is healthy, or they're coming off a bye. They're mainly healthy. Some of the wide receivers are coming back for Carson Wentz because he's been throwing it to basically nobody. So I'm going with the Eagles here. I think this is a must-win game for them if they really want to win that division.
You know what? Bryce talked me into it. I'm going to take Danny Dimes. I saw a stat that I think he's won 4 games in his career, and 3 of them have been against the Redskins. So let's get his second win against a team not in the Redskins. Let's take the Giants.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I don't know. I just like Carson Wentz a little bit better than Daniel Jones. So that was like my ultimate decider today. Next, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who got pretty much shut out by the Saints against the Carolina Panthers. And they're facing the Carolina Panthers this week. And I'm going to be taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they're going to have quite a bounce-back game. Obviously, the Saints just freaking punched them in the mouth, and it's not looking good. But they're facing the Panthers, but the Panthers are no joke either. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top in this one.
Yeah, I would almost bet that the Bucs covered by double digits. I mean, I think the Bucs coming off that loss. I mean, the worst loss of Tom Brady's career. I think they'll come back firing on all cylinders. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they were in the practice rooms Monday morning trying to work everything out after that game. I mean, maybe even Sunday night. But yeah, Carolina's a good team, but no Christian McCaffrey. We've seen this team without him, and with him they almost beat the Chiefs. So I think without him, I like the Bucs big in this game.
Yeah, I'm rolling with the Bucks here. I think Tom Brady got pretty embarrassed last game and comes out firing. So he's got a ton of weapons. Hopefully they get a little bit healthier for this week. But yeah, I agree. I think the Bucks win.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bucks here. They're definitely due for a bounce back. I mean, they got destroyed last week by New Orleans. Carolina gave the Chiefs a great game. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater, that dude has heart. But I don't know. I'm going to take Tampa Bay having a bounce back win here over Carolina keeping the little – because they played good last week, but I'm going to take Tampa Bay here.
Yeah, the Panthers definitely did put up quite a good performance against the Chiefs last week, but obviously wasn't enough. They came close. That game-winning field goal couldn't help them out. It didn't end up happening. Next, we have the Washington football team at the Detroit Lions, and without Matthew Stafford back in the lineup still, I'm going to be taking the Washington football team. It's a big difference when Matthew Stafford is in there for the Lions and when he's not. It's quite obvious.
I didn't even realize Stafford wasn't playing in this game, but I had Washington winning before that. I think Washington, with a full week, with Alex Smith taking the first team reps and getting used to this offense and getting back in shape, I think he'll at least come back in and be better than what we've seen from him so far. This defense is legit. Too bad their offense sucks. But I think with Alex Smith there, they're going to be looking a little bit rejuvenated on the offensive side, and Terry McLaurin is an absolute monster receiver for them, and nobody's talking about him. But yeah, I'm going to take Washington on the road.
Yeah, last week both these teams had their starting quarterbacks knocked out of the game, in Stafford and Allen. So I pretty much flip a coin for this game, see who's going to win. I'm going to go with Washington because I think they have the better defense. Plus, Detroit's missing Galladay, so going Washington.
Yeah, I'm going to take the football team too. Detroit without Stafford just doesn't look good at all. Washington's defense is pretty good, so that's definitely that leans my pick there. But it's pretty much a toss-up. I'm going to go with the football team.
Next, we have the Buffalo Bills at the Arizona Cardinals. This is a pretty good matchup. Bills are 7-2, and the Cardinals are 5-3. And we're doing scores for this one. And I mean, I was gonna pick the Bills, but I think the Cardinals are out for vengeance, especially after the Dolphins beat them last week. I think they're not gonna take no for an answer next week. They're gonna do everything possible to get the win. So I have the Bills losing 27-33, and I mean, I think the Bills will have a better opportunity of limiting Kyler Murray from running out the pocket like the Dolphins couldn't do last week, but it's not going to be enough.
This is the toughest game of the week for me to pick. I love Arizona's offense, but Josh Allen's playing on another level this season. I don't see Arizona slowing him down. I think it'll be a very high-scoring game. And at this point, I just trust Josh Allen more than I do Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's been more useful with his legs than his arms so far this season. He turns the ball over a lot. So I'm going to take the Bills on the road, but that's like 50.1% to 49.9%. It's a true toss-up for me, but I'm going to take the Bills on the road. I think they're just the overall better team. My score for the game, I'm going to say Bills 38, Cardinals 34.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bills. Their defense is getting a lot better and hitting their stride, so I think they're going to do well against the Cardinals. I have Bills winning 38-31.
I'm going to take the Cardinals. I think last week was the first week I really sat down and watched Kyler Murray play because they played the Dolphins. That dude looked great. I don't see Buffalo's defense really slowing them down. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I'll take Arizona 41-35. But I think it's going to be a really good offensive game for both Josh Allen and Kyler Murray.
Jeez, that's a high score, Eddie. But yeah, it's like what Bryce was saying, this was a very hard game to pick. This is probably like one of the hardest games to pick of the week. Just because it's kind of split down the middle, right, even for both of them. Next, we have the Denver Broncos at the Las Vegas Raiders. And I'm taking the Raiders. They've just been having a better season than the Broncos up to this point, and I have a little bit more faith in them. They barely made it out against the Chargers with the win. It took two pass breakups in the back of the end zone to come out with that win. But it was a good game, and I expect them to continue having good games, especially this week against the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Raiders here. I think they're just overall the better team and the better coached team. But Denver's not doing themselves any favors by winning games, man. I mean, Drew Lock doesn't seem to be the guy, but they just, they're 3-5 right now, and they're probably not going to have a top 5 or top 8 pick and get one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft. So they're going to be stuck with Lock for another year or two. So I think they're going to be in a tough place, but I do like the Raiders to win this game. Again, I think their defense is playing really good, and I really love Derek Carr. He's efficient with the football, so I think he'll ball out this week.
Yeah, who knew Derek Carr is a top 10 quarterback? Pretty surprising this year, sort of. But I am going to agree and go with the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Raiders. I like them a lot more than Denver. Derek Carr, to me, I mean, I didn't think he was anything going into the season. Definitely changed my mind about that. And I think this Raiders team is legit. They're playing well, and I saw somebody on ESPN put that they're the biggest threat to the Chiefs, which I don't agree with, but I'll take the Raiders this week.
I think they're just saying that, especially because they're the only team that really has beaten the Chiefs, and they're also in the division, and they're the second place team to them. But yeah, I can agree that they might give them some fits, but I don't think they're too much of the greatest competition to them. Next, we have the Los Angeles Chargers at the Miami Dolphins. We're doing scores for this one as well. Obviously, I'm picking the Dolphins, and it's going to be a pretty close score because that's how all these Los Angeles Chargers games go. But will I be surprised if they win? Not really, because this Chargers team is always constantly getting in these type of back-and-forth games. But the Dolphins have shown resiliency to come out on these close games as well. So I'm taking the Dolphins winning 20-26. And what about you guys?
Yeah, the best way to make up ground in this group is to pick against the Dolphins. So I'm going to take the Los Angeles Chargers. And for this reason, it's not Herbert's fault. He's keeping them in games. The defense has got to step up and make some plays. Obviously, they needed a touchdown at the end of the game last week. I will say, Tua really impressed me last week in the second half of that game. This defense has been playing really good. But I don't know. I like the Chargers this week. I think Herbert's going to have a great game, and I need to make up ground fast. So I'm going to take the Chargers.
Man, I really want to take the Chargers because I really would like to see them start winning some games. But that Dolphins defense has been playing really well for the last couple of weeks, so I'm going to roll with the Dolphins. I have them winning 27-17.
So I'm going to roll with the Dolphins here. I think this is a big matchup for both franchises just because, I mean, Herbert and Tua, they went back-to-back in the drafts, and everybody wants to make the right pick when this happens. I think the Dolphins' defense is going to give Herbert fits. I saw that his stats against blitzes have not been good, and the Dolphins like to send a lot of pressure. And, yeah, Miami's offense is a little banged up. I mean, Preston Williams on IR now, so they need some weapons. But I'm going to roll with the Dolphins here. I think Tua gets his third win in a row, and the Dolphins keep rolling. And I got them 27-21.
I'd say real quick, my score, I got the Chargers winning a low-scoring game, 17-14.
Yeah, what Eddie said was pretty much perfect. It was 5th overall was Tua, 6th overall was Justin Herbert. So definitely a big prove-it type of game for both sides. So it's very interesting. Next, we have the Seattle Seahawks at the Los Angeles Rams, and we're also doing scores for this one. I have the Seahawks winning 37-28. It's going to be an offensive output from the Seahawks. But, the Rams should compete in this game. I don't think it's going to be that crazy of a score, to be honest, but I just put it just because I thought it would be pretty close to what it was. And just before we move on, the last week's game, Dolphins and Cardinals, I put 32-30. That was, I think, probably like the closest score we got on that game. But, yeah, go ahead, guys.
I'm going to take the Seahawks winning. I'm going to take the Seahawks winning 31-30. Really close game. I like the way the Seahawks have been playing. Russ has been cooking all season. Their defense has got to step up, though. And the Rams, look, after getting embarrassed down in Miami, I believe they're coming off a bye week too. So they're going to be well prepared. I don't think they're going to stop Russ. But I look for this offense to look more alive this week. And also look for Cam Akers to get more involved in the run game. I believe he's going to play. Look for him to possibly have a big day, the rookie out of Florida State.
Yeah, I really want to take the Seahawks this week. They're one of my favorite teams to watch in the NFL. I really like Russ a lot. But I'm going with the Rams. I have them winning 30-27. I just think with the Rams wide receivers all healthy, Seahawks really aren't very good at defensive back. So I think they're going to have a field day throwing the ball, and Seahawks offensive line sucks, and it's going to go against Aaron Donald. So I'm taking the Rams in an upset here.
So I'm going to start this off by saying I do not like Jared Goff, and I do not think he's good against good defenses, which Seattle has a pretty good defense. I just think they have an alright defense. I think they give I think that Goff is under pressure all night. I think it'll be a close game, but I'll take Seattle in this one 27-24. I think it's a real close game still, but I just don't trust Goff over Wilson.
Yeah, that's something that obviously is a big deciding factor when you're picking who the winning quarterback could be. And I'm always going to take Russell Wilson over Jared Goff, even though sometimes, Jared Goff does get some wins over him. More faith in Russell Wilson, 100%. Next, we have the San Francisco 49ers at the New Orleans Saints. And, do I need to say anything crazy? The Saints just completely blew the Buccaneers out of the water. 49ers have been dealing with lots of injuries, so they're pretty much literally dead in the water. So I'm taking the Saints. What about you guys?
Saints in the dome, 49ers with over 80 mil on the IR. Saints should win easy, but I could see a situation where they're too high off that Bucs beatdown last week, and it's a close game, but it's not like Jimmy G's good, but he's not playing. Kittle's definitely not playing. And then obviously that defense with so many players out. I'll take the Saints at home.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with the Saints. What we saw last week was really impressive. They're only going to get healthier towards the end of the year as well. So you got to go with the Saints here.
Yeah, I'm taking the Saints here. I think San Francisco is way too banged up, and New Orleans is playing way too well to take San Francisco. So I'm going to take Drew Brees and the Saints.
Yeah, next we have Sunday Night Football. We have the Baltimore Ravens at the New England Patriots. Baltimore is 6-2. Patriots are 3-5. And honestly, I'm not really big of a fan of what the Patriots been doing this season so far. They haven't really been too successful. Obviously, they're used to being the opposite record of probably 5-3 than 3-5. And it's just this game is going to be I wouldn't say boring, but it's going to be a lot of running. So the game's going to feel like it's going by real fast. And but I'm taking Baltimore in this one. What about you guys?
This is an interesting game for me. I think Baltimore will win, but I think Bill Belichick's going to have something for Lamar Jackson. That they're missing a lot of defensive players. And I just think offensively the Patriots will not be able to put up enough points. I think their defense is going to stop Lamar for the most part. But I like the Ravens on the road here.
I'm actually going to go with an upset here. I'm taking the Patriots. Lamar he struggled to throw the ball, in my opinion, in the last few weeks. He hasn't really looked like an MVP like he did last year. I think Bill Belichick will be able to semi-contain him running the ball and will just force him to throw. And Cam Newton hasn't turned the ball over as far as interceptions in 2 weeks, so last 2 games. So I think Patriots might have a chance for an upset here.
I'm going to take Baltimore. I agree with Chris that Lamar Jackson hasn't impressed me at all this season. But the fact that they're still 6-2 and Jackson hasn't played great, and New England kind of struggled with Joe Flacco last week. So I mean, New England had a lot of opt out this season, especially on their defense. I'm going to take Baltimore. I don't really think it's a close game, and I think Lamar Jackson has a pretty good game.
Yeah, there's been a lot of criticism against Lamar this year, so winning a game like this is really going to do so much for people to get kind of back on the bandwagon for Lamar. Next, we have Monday Night Football. We have the Minnesota Vikings at the Chicago Bears, and Chris is going to hate this pick. I'm going with the Vikings. They've seemed to be the hottest team in the NFC North right now, and the Bears seem to be the coldest. Yes, behind the Lions, you guys are the coldest right now. They're on a 3-game losing streak, and honestly have looked horrible under Nick Foles-led quarterback. So, I mean, they really need to make a quarterback change or something because it hasn't been working at all.
Yeah, I gotta take the Bears, man. I get what you're saying. Plus, Dalvin Cook's ran for like almost 500 yards the last 2 games. But the Bears' defense is legit. Nick Foles is going to figure it out. He's going to come out and figure it out against this defense. We're definitely not going to go back to Trubisky, but I did see this weird stat about the Bears. I'm pretty sure we're the only team in the NFL that's won 3 games in a row and lost 3 games in a row. So it's time to win a game here. Got to do it against divisional Minnesota.
This is a tough pick, but Chris, I'm going to pick your Bears right here, man. Their defense is legit. They shut down Derrick Henry for the most part. Dalvin Cook's been the hottest player in the NFL the last few weeks, other than Devontae Adams. I think the Vikings are going to put up a fight, but Kirk Cousins against a good defense, might as well call him like Shaq, barbecue chicken. So, you know, Kirk Cousins is the worst quarterback in that division by far. And honestly, Trubisky may be better than him. So he's probably the 5th or 6th best quarterback in his division. They're solely relying on Dalvin Cook. And I think the Bears' run defense is going to shut Dalvin Cook down, along like they did with Derrick Henry. Kirk Cousins, barbecue chicken this week, baby.
Well, I'm going to take the Vikings. Had Dalvin Cook in fantasy. It's been great for me. But, yeah, I don't think he goes as crazy running against Chicago, but it's 2 bad quarterbacks in Foles and Cousins, and I don't know why. I'm going to roll with the hot hand here. I think Minnesota's been playing a lot better. The defense has looked a little bit better. So why not? Let's take the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm on the fence with picking who is gonna win this game, but it's leaning more towards the Vikings. They're the hotter team right now, but I wouldn't doubt it if the Bears' defense cooks up something to stop Dalvin Cook. So, anything else you guys want to get off your head for this week? Just before we have 4 teams on bye. It's the Jets, Chiefs, Cowboys, and Falcons.
I'll say this. I had a theory that the Patriots were going to start tanking for Trevor because heading into the Monday night game, they had 2 wins. The Jets had 0 wins. They played the Jets twice the remainder of the season. I thought they tried every way possible to give the game to the Jets. But the Jets are like Vanderbilt Commodores football team. They just are good at losing. No matter what you do to them, they're just good at losing. And so the Jets solidified the number 1 pick. I think Bill Belichick's gonna leave after this season with the Patriots. He's gonna go live on the beaches of nice San Diego with a young Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Austin Eckler. Or he could go down to Atlanta with an older Matty Ice and Julio. But I think the beaches of San Diego sound better than Atlanta.
I wanted to just talk about a team that's not playing this week a little bit. The New York Jets. What are the odds that they actually do win a game this year? I mean, I got the schedule up right here. They have Los Angeles, Miami, Raiders, Seattle, Los Angeles, the Rams, the Browns, and the Patriots. I don't see them winning any of those games. And I don't know how long Adam Gase is going to last, but it's getting a little ridiculous. And I did see on Twitter, everyone's calling Matt Nagy, Adam Gase, and a Gucci belt. So fire them both, in my opinion, and let's move on.
And to what you said about the Jets, I mean, their fans should be happy. They can't lose this week. But I don't know what else I have to say about this week. I mean, I hope Tua has another great game. It's going to be really interesting to see him and Justin Herbert go at it. And I think the league's in a really good position with all these young QBs looking really good, especially like the Kyler Murrays of the world, Joe Burrows, Tua, Herbert, all of them.
Yeah, I definitely.
Real quick, talking about Adam Gase, I'll just say this. If you want the number one pick and you're the Jets, that's why you don't fire Adam Gase. Because if you want Trevor Lawrence, you don't want your team to be competitive. So that's why you keep him as the head coach. So if that's your goal, then they're doing a dang good job at it. So that's all I got to say.
Yeah, I loved all your guys' comments about the Jets. That was pretty funny. Yeah, I don't see him really winning any other game, but I wouldn't be surprised if they beat that Patriots on that last week game. Just once they probably already have the pick secured, they're probably going to beat the Patriots that week. They're like, oh, it's time to win the one at least. I don't know. You see Joe Flacco. Is Sam Darnold injured or something? Because he's never in whenever I go to watch the Jets. Never. I don't know. It's ridiculous. So with all that being said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you haven't done it yet, check out NFLGamePicker.com to make all your game pick needs. And Thursday Night Football should be interesting. Colts and Titans. And that's about all I have to say. If you haven't done it yet, follow all of us on Instagram and Twitter. And yes, Bryce is repping his Titans right here. Let me put him on. There we go. But yeah, that's about it for this week, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you haven't done it yet, follow each and every one of us on our social media and YouTubes. Later, guys.
Bear down, baby. Later, guys.
Peace.